Okay, Hen, I see you. Okay. Do 30-year-old friend groups really act like this? Okay, well, good thing that your boyfriend makes expensive tables now. Which is it, Harriet? Giggling and kicking my feet. It's like they're fake dating for real. That seems pretty f***ed up. I recently did a short asking what your guys' recommendations were for my next Emily Henry read. And by some grace of God, I don't know how this happened like the week leading up to February, but I got both Funny Story and Happy Place in on my Libby. One physical, well, ebook, and one, the audiobook. The pink one is the audiobook. I am pretty sure it's Happy Place. I'm gonna be reading both of those books and giving my thoughts and reactions. Basically, my favorite Emily Henry has been Book Lovers. I really loved Book Lovers. I read that physically, and I am kind of sad because I realized that I gave that book copy to my sister. I don't know why I did that. Regardless, I'm not really going to collect all the Emily Henrys, so it's fine. So I'm going to just give myself a little refresher. I'm not even really going to be doing like a full face or anything. I'm just going to probably be putting some concealer on or something. And I'm just kind of making myself a little bit more alive. A couple who broke up months ago pretend to still be together for their annual week-long vacation with their best friends. That premise to me sounds like something I would like. Fun fact about me and my background in romance, I have been in 2 long-term relationships. I am 34 and I was with my high school college ex for 9 years, and I have been with my current fiance for 10. With my fiance, we broke up and got back together. So second chance romance to me, I just personally relate to that. And also with my ex, we broke up like 3 months before some of our like closest friends had got married, and we didn't pretend to still be together, but it was kind of a thing where we were pretending like we didn't just have like this huge life, very painful, kind of messy breakup between us, and we were both like in the wedding and just kind of pretended like everything was fine. So that premise to me feels extremely relatable, except now for reasons they're still not discussing. They broke up 5 months ago, still haven't told their friends. Okay. And then Funny Story, a shimmering, joyful novel about a pair of opposites with the wrong thing in common. Daphne always loved the way her fiance told their story, how they met, fell in love, and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He really was good at telling it right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his childhood best friend. Ooh, I don't love that premise. There's no way that Daphne would actually start her new chapter by falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex. What are the major tropes of each Emily Henry book? Funny Story, roommates to lovers / revenge on exes. Happy Place, second chance romance. I do like a second chance, I do. Looking at like some little infographic that someone shared on Reddit. Funny Story says friends to lovers, small town, fake relationship. And then Happy Place, it says second chance and fake relationship. I don't know, Happy Place to me sounds like it might be more what I would gravitate towards naturally. I think one comment said Happy Place, and then like almost every other comment on my Instagram and YouTube short said Funny Story was their favorite. Seems to be a lot of people's favorites. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I'm in the mood for a romance. All right, y'all, so I'm in the car. We're gonna start this. I have about a 30-minute drive. I realized I need to get gas. I hate that. Then Goodwill. Hi guys, I'm obviously back home now. That was exhausting. I got the animals fed. I had some Wingstop, but I just wanted to talk about Happy Place. I am 30%, well, 29% done with Happy Place, and I had a few cringe moments. One, I feel like this is, I don't know. I liked the idea of the premise in the beginning. And now I'm like, why are you guys why did you guys hide this from everyone from so long if you're so close? Like, by the way, I think this is probably going to be spoiler territory because these books have been out for a while and I just want to like talk about my thoughts about what's happening, right? So I'm going to be giving spoilers. It's so like sickly sweet, like with a friend thing where it's like, these are like my favorite people in the world, and this is my happy place is my best friend's rich dad's mansion, and they all just sit around and drink maple lattes and talk about how much they love each other and how important they are to each other and all this stuff. But then in the same chapter, you're being like, but I haven't told them that I broke up with my boyfriend of 8 years in the last 5 months. To me, it doesn't make sense that Harriet, the main character, would wait until a week-long vacation with all of her best friends to tell them that they broke up. I guess I get it where if it's like you want to do it in person, you want to do it all when they're all together and you want to be able to have their comfort, I guess, when you like really process it. But I don't know, the whole like, you guys are just kind of like creating a situation for yourself. It's kind of annoying. At the same time, if these friends are so important to you and they're like your found family, how are you so just like okay with lying to them? It's weird. And also I feel like, I don't know, like I said, I've dated a man for 8+ years, twice. If him and I were broken up, my best friends would tell. The second that we were in that room together, if it was my best friends who I was living with all through college and they couldn't pick up on the vibe of me and my ex of 8 years and been like, something's off, then are they really that good at friends? If they can't even tell? I don't get that. Also, I hate everyone's name in this. Just random side note. I hate the name Win and Parth for men. Hate that. I am all for supporting women, right? And unconventional, you know, gender roles and all of that. However, a woman getting on her knee to propose to a man after going her whole life saying that she didn't believe in marriage, she never wanted to be married, and then having that be the way that you guys like decide to get married isn't not my favorite. It's just not romantic to me. I don't like that. I don't like that. Things I do like, the one bed trope. I do like that. We've got a little bit of that, but I haven't found out what actually happened. Something had to have happened for two people who have been together for 8 years and are in like a large mutual friend group for them to be so like bitter and like argumentative. And it's like she's acting angry that like he broke up with her like over the phone, but at the same time she has been okay with being long distance with this person that she's been together for 8 years. Like she was fine with him just like leaving and going to do his own thing, and like they didn't make any decisions together, and she's like okay with that. But then she's also shocked when he breaks up with her. She's like acting very like annoyed and mad about it. But then multiple times she's also said that she knew it was the right thing to do. So it's like, which is it? Which is it, Harriet? Not loving it. Not loving it, but it's an audiobook and it's fine. The audiobook narrator is, what's her name? Julia Wheaton, I want to say. And I think she's narrated like every single Chris and Hannah audiobook that I've ever listened to. I don't love the way she does male voices either. It's not quite my happy place. Good morning, friends. It's late morning now. I actually spent most of my morning reading Happy Place because late last night, a little Libby notification popped up and said that the Happy Place ebook was available for me to borrow at the same time that I had the audiobook. I always, if it's available, do a hold for the audiobook and the Kindle. And usually I'll just pick up whichever one comes up. Unless it's something that I really don't want to read audibly. Like if it's a fantasy or something, I try to do physicals. But for a little romance, I'm always down for an audiobook. I woke up early this morning. I just couldn't go back to sleep and read most of this. I started at 30% and I am now at 75%. That's something I do love about a contemporary romance. Even if I'm not having that great of a time, they still read so fast, and I'm still like, something about it still makes me want to read it. Like, even if it's just to be mad at the end about the way that it ended or be annoyed at the characters, because a lot of the time I'm just annoyed at the characters. And something about that still encourages me to read it. I don't know what that says about me, but I don't love Emily Henry's writing. But like, I just feel like it's so over the top with like there was like a popcorn in my chest. The whole thing felt like a snow globe with glitter and corn syrup. And there was a bowling ball that fell in my stomach. And the butterflies are back. Like those types of metaphors, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like they're overused and cringe to me in this context. I don't know what it is about it. I also just find her writing to be kind of boring. I did feel like Great Big Beautiful Life was the most like interesting and the most like well written. It felt like it had the most context and substance. The rest of them to me just all feel the same. And I think that's kind of the point, is like, where if you really like that kind of book, you kind of want it to be like that because you know you love it. So you're like, I know that I'm gonna have a good time. It's kind of predictable in the way that I know what I'm gonna get. I just don't think it's entirely for me. And I think Book Lovers was really carried by the characters for me, that I just happened to like that dynamic and I was interested in what they were doing. They seemed to be passionate about what they were doing and each other. And in this, I don't feel any of that passion. Not for their careers that have broken them apart, not for each other. I feel like the most like passion in this book is like for the friend group. Like I feel like it's a little over the top again. Like, do 30-year-old friend groups really act like this? But I just feel like it's very like immature. I can only see this going one of a few ways, and I don't think that any of those are gonna be good. I don't think any of those are gonna satisfy me. Emily Henry didn't write this book to personally satisfy me. I get that, but I understand the conflict, but it is just a miscommunication trope. None of you are actually saying what you mean, and like, you guys gotta shit or get off the pot. They're either going to end up back together and do the same thing that they did before, that be apart, have their own separate things, and accept that and like do it again, which isn't gonna work. Or one of them gives up something that they have been working towards their whole life. And if she gives up her residency, like if she just is like, oh, I don't need to be a doctor now, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
I don't know why I'm getting angry over something that hasn't even happened yet, but I just feel like that's what's gonna happen, because it's like, what else could possibly happen? Or they don't end up together at all and they just leave an ambiguous ending, which I don't feel like is an Emily Henry move. I don't feel like it's a contemporary romance in general move. Like, that's a Sally Rooney move. What did I write down? Yeah, and like the whole breakup thing, we're kind of finally getting to the point where it's like, she's like, can you give me an answer of why you broke up with me? And we just found out that showed up to happy hour, none of the girls were there, so she had a drink with a man. He drove her home and then he kissed her on her stoop and was like, you know, I can tell you're unhappy. Your man isn't here. Like, but I'm here. Like, give me a shot. And then she runs inside, calls her boyfriend whose dad just died. He's like, okay, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Duh, obviously. Like, of course. And then she's like, now in present day, she's like babbling on about how she didn't get concrete answers as to why they broke up. And I don't know. I just feel like sometimes as an adult, you just have to let the reality and let people's actions and let what's actually happening be your closure, be your answer. It seems pretty obvious what happened. What do you mean you didn't get concrete answers? But then on the other hand, I was like, dude, so you just called her over the phone, you just were like, this isn't working, let's break up, and then you sent her all her shit that day? That seems pretty fucked up. Like, because to me, that's being like, I don't ever want to work on this again. Like, if you break up after a long time, you know, a lot of times, at least in my experience, if you still love the person and you still like had some inkling of wanting to make it work with them, you wouldn't send them all their shit. You'd hold on to it so that you'd have an excuse to talk to them again, to reconcile, to exchange things, to talk about things. But the fact that he just sent her all of her shit, that is a concrete answer. That's what I mean. Like, that was your answer. He sent you all your shit. I hate the miscommunication, adults just not saying what they mean, adults not acting like adults. It really bothers me. And that's so much of what contemporary romance is, I feel. So while I was really excited about this premise to start, the way it's going is not hitting. They're not really pretending to still be together. All right, let's go finish Happy Place. I don't think it will transport me to my own, but Matt saw me earlier writing a note in my phone and the title was Happy Place. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, it's like the name of the book I'm reading. He was like, oh, I thought you had finally like cracked and like lost it. And you were like taking notes about how to get to your happy place. Let's talk about it because I have a lot of thoughts about this. Not many of them are good. Overall, I just didn't care about these two main characters. I did not think that they had any chemistry. I could understand some of their struggles. However, this is the same thing I have said and what I feel about a lot of contemporary romance, and what I hate is 30-plus-year-olds just refusing to like talk about their relationship or their problems, or come to terms with the fact that like they're not on the same path anymore. And maybe that's okay. I hated the ending. And the thing that I actually liked most about this was the conversation surrounding the adult friendship, and that some people take it better than others and adjust better than others when your life shifts, especially after college and from like your early 20s to your late 20s, early 30s, where friendships are important, of course. For some people, they just are different and they can't be the number one priority like they were when you were in college and you guys all lived in an apartment together and you were the happiest you've ever been. And it's like, newsflash, that's most people. That's how it is for most people, because those are the times that you're figuring out life and having friends and having fun. And this is about a lot of people who are really grasping on and having a hard time letting go of the fact that you're not 22 anymore. And one of the friends in this group, Cleo, was the most level-headed, and she was like making the most sense and was like, you know what? Everyone is like trying to like push us into this, okay, we're all at our favorite place, but like life is changing. Over the top, like, I love you, you're part of my soul. Like, it was a little like over the top, gushy, like codependent friendships for me. I have friendships that are very important to me, but they are very different than they were when I was 22, you know? However, I do feel like that was the most like well explored, interesting concept of this book. It wasn't the romance. I did not care for Win and Harriet whatsoever. But I enjoyed that by the end of this, there were some hard things that needed to be said were said. And you can't keep forcing something to be like it was, because it's not, because change is the only constant in life. And then the ending, can we talk about the ending of this? Can we talk about the ending? Because you're telling me that you spent, what, 10 years in med school, you're $250,000 in debt, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna quit and give it up and move to Montana and pursue pottery. Look, I'm not someone who's very like job career focused, right? Like, I went to a party school and I don't care about work. Like, if I didn't have to work, I wouldn't. I don't find passion through work. I don't find like fulfillment through work. I work because I live in reality. I live in a capitalistic society and I have to work to live. And I'm a very much like, get over it. Let's live in reality. Find your joy in other things if you have to work. If you're a fucking brain surgeon, I just don't think that's realistic. In this whole time that you were studying to be a doctor, in school, in med school, in residency, you're in an internship, and you never once thought, oh, I actually hate the smell of hospitals. It's like you never once, that never came up? You never thought of that before? Okay, well, good thing that your boyfriend makes expensive tables now. Girl, be so fucking for real with me right now. Hen, be so for real with me. Oh, well, I can just quit being a doctor and pay off my student loans because my boyfriend now makes really expensive tables and his table business is really popping off. It just makes no sense to me. I did not like that. And don't get me started on Win. Like, they both sucked, but the fact that by the end of this trip, he was in one hand telling her, no, you can't give up your life for me and follow me to where I am because I did that for you and it broke us apart. And he's like, I won't let you do that. I don't want you to resent me. But then 5 minutes later, he's like, you're the only person for me. Me and you belong together in every universe. And it's like, pick one. Cannot be saying both of those things to a person. It was just a lot of the miscommunication trope. And I think it's so played out. And I think that if you're gonna use that in your romance book, there better be like a good reason. And please don't make them 30 plus, because I just find it so immature and so unbelievable. And maybe there are people like that out there, but it couldn't be me. I did read this in a 24-hour period. So romance books have that going for me. I retained the whole thing. I read it very presently, and it went by really fast. So at this point, we're just gonna keep reading these Emily Henrys just for the plot. I just like to know what everyone's talking about and being like, okay, so if you really like these Emily Henry books, like maybe we just don't have the same taste, and then I can learn from it, you know? Maybe Funny Story will pull through and then we'll be at like a better batting average for Emily Henry overall. But right now we're half and half, where I've hated, really not liked half, and liked half, but weren't obsessed. So that's where we're at. Current ranking is still Book Lovers, Great Big Beautiful Life, Happy Place, Beach Read. I can't imagine anything's gonna be worse than Beach Read, you guys. I don't know, but I'm gonna give myself a little break, do something else before I jump into that. But for you guys, it'll be like the next clip. So enjoy. Let me know in the comments how you guys felt about Happy Place. Well, guess I'm staying in today and reading this. Hello friends, it is quite a bit later. I want to say at least like a week or so post Happy Place, and I am picking back up this vlog. I'm kind of jumping between two vlogs right now because I want to do this Emily Henry vlog, but I'm also in my Dracula obsession moment, and I'm doing a vlog for that. I think that will come out first, where I just read a really terrible Dracula retelling. And so I decided to switch gears instead of going full force with that, because it's consuming my every waking thought. I'm trying to do a little palate cleanser, which is usually what romances are for me. And also just kind of like maybe help me get out of that obsession a little bit. You know, sometimes that's good. I'm like, let's loop back around to reality. Let's try and take some of the focus of the Dracula that's living in my brain 100% of the day. Try and loosen that grip. So I started Funny Story last night, and I am so happy to report that I'm actually really loving it. Really am, actually. So that's fun. That's a funny story. The funny story is I'm actually enjoying this Emily Henry, so we'll see. So I am already 25% through, and that's another reason I wanted to start this, because they're so quick. We have about a foot of snow on the ground at this point right now. Matt took the day off, so we're just hanging out at home, and I haven't even like done anything yet. I'm straight out of bed, just kind of hanging out. 25% through Funny Story. So basically it's a fake dating, which I generally don't like, but in this situation I'm liking it, because they're not only fake dating for like, I don't know, they're fake dating to make someone else jealous, which I don't know, I guess I relate to. I'm petty like that. These two people are roommates because their significant others got together. Her boyfriend dumped her for his childhood best friend because they, you know, were getting married, and the girl, by the way, what a bitch. Petra is such a to be best friends with someone your whole life, secretly be in love with them, date another guy for 3 years, then wait till your childhood best friend is like a few months out from their wedding and profess your love for him at his bachelor party, and then have a backup of your own 3-year relationship boyfriend to be like, well, I can just fall back on that if he doesn't like break up his life for me. Like, what a fucking move. Oh my god, I hate that. I think that's just like one of the nastiest things you could do. I realize that it takes sometimes people being with the wrong person to realize what they really want, or like, you know, you have a moment with someone where you're like, oh, this is actually what love is. Like, what I have with this other person right now isn't it. I get that, but like, what a terrible way to go about it. So now they're fake dating to like make their exes jealous. I don't hate that. I don't hate that dynamic, and I love this main male character. I love Miles. I love the kind of like sweet, charming, weed smoking guy who like works odd jobs and just tries to like see the best in everyone, but isn't like super corny, like cheesy. Like he's just cool, you know? He's not pretentious. He's not like, but he's also not a loser, you know? Oh my God, there's so much snow falling off the trees. They are not handling this weight of this snow right now. It's so crazy outside. This is the first like big snowstorm we've had since moving. I'm really hoping I enjoy this. And so my prediction is that one of the exes is going to come back to these two and say, I made a mistake. You know, wants to get back together with them or something in some way, because the couple who left them, the other couple, Peter and Petra, which hate that. I feel like they're going to break up or have like another moment where they decided like, oh, this was a mistake. Like we're actually not meant to be together. We're better as friends. And one of them or both of them is going to try to come back. So my hope is that Peter and Petra break up. They are unhappy. And then this couple, I'm assuming it's an Emily Henry. They're always going to end up together. She's not going to get back with this ex. Her and Miles are going to end up together. And I'm hoping that they are just like really happy, and obviously, and I hope that the Petra and Peter, the exes, break up and are unhappy. That's my wish. That's my prediction. Or like maybe even Miles, the guy right now, might actually consider going back to his ex, the woman, because he is like very much seems like he is like forgiving of people and understands like people have, you know, they make mistakes and like life is messy and it doesn't mean that she's a bad person. And like I think he might consider taking her back, or they might like go out one night and like talk about things, and then this girl, what is her name, Daphne, is gonna be sad about it, or like they're gonna get in a fight about it, and then eventually they're gonna come together. That's my prediction. To be honest, this might be something that I binge like in a day today, because like I said, I just need to get like the kind of obsessive thoughts, the OCD that I have undiagnosed comes out in things like this, where I see a movie or I read a book or like something is like my personality and I literally can't not think about it, and it hinders my ability to do other things, like the hyperfixation of it. So something like this I feel like helps to kind of bring me back down to like reality, because these are like real people. It's like a contemporary romance, you know? Almost every person that voted for this said this was their favorite. I am calling it right now. This is going to be either up my favorite or it's going to be up there with Book Lovers, and I'm going to be basically shooting like, you know, a 60-70%. You guys, Miles. So you're telling me he likes sad music, he shops local, he wants a cat, and old ladies love him. That is a perfect man to me. That sounds like my man. Like, I love that. We just got to the part where I wanted to call her Dahlia. That was from the dark romance I was just reading. Daphne. We just hit a part where Daphne runs into her old ex. At like a lavender stand that Miles had taken her to, because he's taking her to all of his favorite like local little shops and stands and farm stands. And I'm obsessed with that. I am liking that they are just falling into a cute comfortability with each other. Like, and it doesn't, I don't know, something about it just doesn't. Oh, and they just kissed. How could I forget to make the ex-boyfriend jealous? She asked, she was like, can I kiss you? And he like smirks and is like, hell yeah. He doesn't say that, but oh, I loved that. And then she was like awkward with it and fumbling. And then he was like, no, let me make it believable. Let me kiss you good. Let me kiss you real. And I was like, okay, Emily. Okay, Emhen, I see you. Okay. I am very happy to report that I'm enjoying this, because like I said, I really was feeling like I'm in the mood for other things, but this is working for me. If it wasn't, I would be switching and going to like a classic, a historical fiction, a Dracula, a dark romance, something, a fantasy romance perhaps, but I knew this was gonna go quickly, and I think this is like a good day for it because I'm just hanging out at home. I'm gonna sit here and do some more reading, and I will check in with you guys in a bit, let you know if there's anything making me giggling and kicking my feet, because honestly, we're kind of there. That's kind of happening. Everything worth doing comes with some risk. If this isn't my man, I'm telling you, that is something my fiance has said to me, lives by. He is a risk taker. He's a Sagittarius. What's the other thing about risk that he says all the time? I don't know. Probably just low risk, low reward. You know, high risk, high reward. I will say she described his smile as impish twice, like within like 50 pages. And I was like, don't love that. Like, can we get another descriptor, please? One, I don't like the repetition of the descriptor, but two, when it's impish, that's not cute. Once I get what you're going for, two, I'm like, I'm getting Dwight Schrute.
Oh, judgment is nigh, for der Bellschnickel ist I.
What is happening? 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 We're gonna restart. It's letting me at least restart when I held, okay. I mean, it's at least doing something now that's plugged in. Also really liking the roommate dynamic. Not just fake dating, but roommate, because they're already like naturally are together and they're like, why wouldn't we eat dinner together? Like, we're roommates. Like, it's weirder to like avoid each other and pretend like we're not fake dating than just like fake dating. It's like they're fake dating for real. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what is going on? Oh my God. This is stressing me out. I think it's gonna be fine. This love proclamation is gonna be so good. I can already tell. He is going to give her the most speech about how he fell in love with her, and I cannot wait. My prediction was that one of the exes was going to come back to one of these main characters and basically be like, I messed up, I want you back. Because that's always how people are when they make a rash decision like that, right? And they leave the person that they've been with for a long time for something that's fun and exciting, and they blow up their life because they're bored, self-serving or narcissistic or whatever. He came groveling back like I thought that he would. And so yeah, anyway, I have finished Funny Story and I absolutely loved it. Honestly, just loved Miles. I was getting freaked out a few times where I thought that he was going to freak out and go back to his ex, and he didn't. And in the turn of events that whole like little arc had happened just got me. I teared up a few times actually. Just loved the roommate dynamic because honestly it just felt more like friends to lovers than like some fake dating. Like, they were fake dating to make the other people jealous, but it wasn't performative. It was like they said they were together, but that wasn't like the main point of it, right? Like, that wasn't really what we were following. We were really just following them hanging out, being friends because of the proximity, because they were already roommates, because they needed comfort and they fell in love that way, as opposed to like they were, you know, going out of their way to be like, hey, let's go find where our exes are and like show off. You know, there was a few like, oh, we're taking pictures to post on social media, or they ran into them a couple times, but it wasn't, again, so performative that it felt super fake. It felt so real, and I just loved these characters. I just loved Miles, and I just thought the nature of them falling in love was so organic and so real, so sweet. This is an example of a contemporary romance where I just actually felt like they were communicating. They enjoyed each other's company. They were hanging out. They were openly talking about their problems, about their families, about their past. Yes, they had their own blockages and their own issues, as everyone does, but I just felt like it was handled so well. I'm having a hard time ranking it because I read Book Lovers a few years ago now at this point, but honestly, this might be my favorite. And again, I devoured this in like a 24 or 48 hour period. And so this just reminds me, like, I do like contemporary romance in certain situations, because if I'm reading something in a 24-hour period, if I'm sitting down and reading it for 2 hours and I'm focused and I am in it and I'm giggling, come on, you know, that's something that I enjoy. That's something I like. That's something I am happy to spend my time doing. But honestly, there was nothing I didn't like about this. I think it's still Book Lovers as number one, but this is like very, very, very close. Like, honestly, if I could, I would rank them the same. At the top, Book Lovers, Funny Story, Great Big Beautiful Life, Happy Place, Beach Read. So People We Meet on Vacation is the only one in the catalog I haven't read, and I think I will read it just for the plot. I might just get an audiobook of it or something and just have that as like a very casual read, just to say that I've read it, to have it as an official ranking. But I would highly, highly recommend Funny Story. I'm very surprised too, because the initial because of the initial synopsis of these, I really thought Happy Place was going to be the one that I enjoyed more. It's not even a question. Funny Story was just honestly so well done. I did rate it 4 and I rated Happy Place 2 stars. Something about these, just they're not like life-changing, like super heart-wrenching to me. I feel like a contemporary romance has to be really like transcendent for me to rate it 5 stars. I think the only one I've rated 5 stars is like Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I might have rated, I think I rated Out on a Limb 4. I really loved that one too. That's like top, like in my top. Love in Other Words, I loved Out on a Limb. And then this and Book Lovers are honestly like in my top contemporary romances. Happy Place was a dud in my opinion, but you know, I didn't completely hate the time I had with it. So that is going to wrap it up for this Emily Henry vlog. I know this was very just chatty and full of spoilers. I'm going to be uploading this just like as a bonus video because I already started it, but Dracula like derailed my whole life. So that's why this is kind of just chatting clips. So if you did enjoy this, please go ahead and subscribe and like it. Let me know if you think I should read People We Meet on Vacation. If I hated Beach Read, will I hate that? To me, they're giving the same vibes, but I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite Emily Henry is. And if you agree with my ranking, I would love to chat about it. See you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye.